Well, folks, it's a beautiful Friday morning. I'm actually heading out for a very short time to go and try to find and catch some bait, specifically pinfish for tomorrow's trip. We've got a full boat coming on, so looking forward to that. Fishing with some people that I haven't fished with in forever, since I've known these guys, some of these people, since I was about 11 years old. So we've seen each other recently, but we haven't fished together in a long time. So there will be a lot of stories coming out of when we used to fish together in the ponds and around the neighborhood and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. But like I said, I'm just basically mainly going out to go catch bait for today. I might fish just a little bit just to see what the bay's doing. I heard the bay's absolutely on fire when it comes to grouper, snapper, snook. Haven't seen a lot of reports of redfish, but there are redfish being caught, but it's so brutally hot up in the flats, in the mangroves, that a lot of captains aren't fishing up there, which I don't blame them. I'd be the same way. It's hot right now. I mean, it's 7:20 in the morning and it's brutally hot. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and go out there and see if we can catch some bait. Also, what I want to do is I want to get into the Friday fishing forecast. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend, hot. Plus we have those afternoon thunderstorms, so you're going to have to watch out for those. Typical summertime pattern. But if you can get out and fish, I would definitely do it in the morning. So let's go catch bait and let's get into the Friday fishing forecast. There's a lot of you that are new to the channel, and one of the main things that we like to use is Purina tropical fish food. And a lot of the feed stores, especially if they carry Purina products, they'll carry the tropical fish food. If they don't, you can probably ask them. Now, we do sell it on our website, and it's a little bit more expensive because we have to ship it. We ship it in 5-pound bags. So if you don't have a feed store around you, we can definitely ship it to you. But if you do have a feed store around you, go buy it from them, because it's going to be a lot cheaper, I promise you. But basically what I do is I add water to it, enough water to get kind of like a paste. I don't have enough water in it now, but I'll add water to it and we'll get it to where it's not as powdery. You want it to be kind of a paste. And then again, what I do is I broadcast it 180 degrees around the boat just to let the bait fish know that I'm here. And it's basically that simple. I don't add menhaden oil to it. I don't add anything to it, just salt water. That's all I add to it. Bait fish tip of the day: if you don't use this stuff, I'm telling you right now, jack mackerel works good with oats and stuff like that, and I used to use that for years. But I'll be honest with you, this stuff right here is so much easier to handle, so much easier to use. When you break it all down, it's a lot less expensive. So basically, I'm just throwing it out 180 degrees. I've already got ballyhoo in the back. I can see some pinfish, and I think I've got some white bait, even though I'm really not looking for it, because I'm concentrating on pinfish, because the pinfish will live longer in my live well in the river compared to the white bait. The white bait only lives for so long. So pinfish do very well in the live well. So that's my main focus, because tomorrow we'll probably just get some thread fins or something and head on out. Now, with the way the wind is and the current is this boat shifts back and forth, up and back, because of the trolling motor. If I was anchored, it would just simply go back and forth like this. So you just got to judge which way your chum's going. My chum's going this way. All right, let's see what we can do, folks. You can see bait in the cast net already, so that's good. A lot of pinners. Good, good, good. Like I said, I'm trying to get more pinners than anything else. Well, folks, as I said, I caught bait. Bait was pinfish were relatively pretty easy. It took a little bit to get them chummed, but once I got them chummed, they were good. But I came out to a spot that in the bay that I did not have any marks on it. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I can find some new areas. And sure enough, I find this ledge right here, and I just dropped down and I caught a gag. I'm using a 1/4 ounce because that tide is going very slow. So it's showing me, as you can see, I'm not really marking any fish. I don't like to mark fish. I'm seeing some on the bottom here, but relatively when I'm fishing out in the bay, I'm not really looking for a fish show. I'm looking for more structure than anything, because typically the structure is going to hold the fish. So if I can find the structure, then I'll find the fish. So I came out to this area and just started kind of going around, and sure enough, I found this ledge using the Navionics. Again, I'm a huge proponent for it. So going out and finding new areas is key for me. I love to go and do that. So if you're out there and the tide's running hard or something, go and look for new spots. Go see what you can find out there. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a white bait, hooking them right through the top of the head like this, and sending them down on a quarter ounce huggy. I know it's light for the bay, but that tide is not running very hard. It's barely starting to go out, so I'm just using, I like to use as light as I possibly can go. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. I just caught a gag, and hopefully I'll catch another fish. But I like to go light. I like the challenge. People are like, you're nuts for using 20-pound test and, you know, such light gear, 20-pound test leader, 10-pound test braid. But you know what? It's the challenge more for me than it is anything else. If I can go offshore in 190 feet of water and catch 10-pound American red snapper on 10-pound braided line and 20-pound leader, I'm going to do it. It did take me a long time to get them up, but what does it matter? I mean, it's just, if you're having fun, that's all that matters to me. And I like the challenge of the light leader. Pretty much what I'm doing is feeding it out, just letting it go down by hand so I can feel them if they hit it going down. So if they do, then like the last fish I just had on that I missed, he hit it on the way down. Even though he's not a monster, he's still a gag, but as soon as it got down there, he was on it. But this tide's starting to move a little bit more than what I thought it was, so I'm probably gonna have to upgrade it. I'm gonna try one more time and see what we can do. Just like that, folks. Getting there. It's so nice to conveniently just step back and grab the bait out of the live well without having to bend down or anything else like that. I can't say, I don't know if you've watched the video of the walkthrough of the Stamus, but I gotta say that, like I said, every time I get in this boat I fall more and more in love with it, and it's just been an awesome fishing machine. Rodney the rod holder comes through. I'm testing out this new deal, the red grouper. I've never used this rig before, but when we went offshore, we were using something similar. Well, I wasn't, but a lot of the group was. Nice little red grouper. But what they were doing was they were taking bank sinkers, tying them to the very end, and then doing a loop up above here with a hook and sending it down. And I'm like, huh, that's pretty interesting. And they were catching fish. Everybody caught fish that time. So I thought I would take one of our ball jigs and we can eliminate one of the eyes and use that as a rig, as a weight. And sure enough, I've caught a nice snapper and that red grouper on it. So this is something that I'm testing out that could be a different rig. See, always trying something new. You never know. I put it in the rod holder just to see, because I'm dropping down a Stewie jig, and I got hit on that, and then I got hit on this. So let's see if we can catch another fish. This guy hit the snot out of it on the Stewie. There's a decent gag. It's close to it. He won't keep, but he's close. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast, talk about the tide, solunars, and the weather, what we got coming up. I mentioned earlier that it's going to be your typical summertime pattern. Storms in the afternoon, beautiful in the morning. It's actually not too bad out here right now. There's a little bit of a breeze, but not much. But it's not horrible like I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get into the tides and solunars for this weekend. On Saturday, we have a high tide at 9:38 a.m. at a 2.26 foot. Then we have a low tide at 5:40 p.m. at a 0.23 foot. Then on Sunday, we have a high tide at 10:26 a.m. at a 2.36 foot. Then we have a low tide at 6:31 p.m. at a 0.12. So you can see it's a very long outgoing tide for the day. So it's a 2-tide day, so it's not the best tides, but you can make it work. As you've seen, I've been out here fishing, catching grouper and snapper, and so I've just been moving around, just looking for different spots, and I found some new areas. Whoever would think that all the areas that I have inside the Skyway, I would find more, and I'm just finding more. And this machine, especially this Apex, is helping me tremendously with this high definition. Is unbelievable, but it's a great machine. So let's go ahead and talk about the solunars for this weekend. On Saturday, we have a major feeding time from 8:33 a.m. to 10:33 a.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 4:06 p.m. to 5:06 p.m. Then on Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 9:21 a.m. to 11:21 a.m. And we have a minor feeding time from 5:02 p.m. to 6:02 p.m. So those are your solunars for this weekend. That early morning solunar I think is going to be really good. So us personally, we're going offshore, so I'm going to try to get offshore early enough to where we can hit that major. I don't want to. That's why I went out and caught bait today, so we had it. But we might throw the net once or twice for some thread fins. But other than that, we want to get out there pretty early. So if you're fishing the bay, that major, I think it's going to be really good early in the morning, because the heat, once it starts heating up, everything's kind of starts shutting down. The snook bite has been really good inside the bay, especially on dead bait. Dead whole thread fins or cut thread fins have been the key to catching snook and redfish up into the trees. Now, if you want to sit up on the mangroves like that, it's sweltering hot, so be careful. Make sure you stay hydrated. But there's a lot of fish to be caught, and everything is kind of slowed down in the sense of they don't want to chase live bait, and there's really not a ton of live bait around in the sense of white bait, because they're spawning. There's a couple of places where you can catch them. I caught them this morning, but they're not like overly prevalent. So they're in between that spawn, and once they all spawn out and those little ones show up, that's what you're going to have to deal with. But you're matching the hatch, so always remember that. Match the hatch and have as many different baits on the boat as you possibly can. Plus, with the snapper and grouper, chumming has been a key factor, a huge factor on getting bit on a regular basis. I have a ton of captains telling me, yeah, we've been chumming them up and they've been coming right to the surface, and we're getting our 3- and 4-man limit within like a half an hour. So if you catch a lot of bait, especially thread fins, leave a bucket full for chum. If you have our chum cutter, go ahead and use that, because you can cut up a bunch of chum at once and start chumming the water, and I guarantee that you'll catch fish. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there for all of the support. We still continuously appreciate it. We can't say enough about everybody doing what they've done for us. We have a lot of big things coming. Thank you very much again. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the flip side.